Today we're going to make a really cool pumpkin inspired by the artist Yayoi Kusama. And I'm going to teach you a way to draw a pumpkin that you may not have drawn before, or maybe you have. So this is going to be really fun if you've never done this before. So there's a lot of ways, of course, you can draw a pumpkin. Today we're going to start actually with the middle center part of the pumpkin, and we're going to do the stem last actually. So let's start with your pencil. You're going to want to make the top like kind of like a bowling pin or a gourd. So think of it as nice and round. We want this to be nice and big because we're going to fill it in with some dots later, just like Yayoi Kusama. And then make the bottom part like a bowling pin, a little bit larger and thicker. There we go, than you did the top. So the top is like the size of maybe a baseball, and the bottom is the size of a small grapefruit on this particular piece of paper. Then for my next section, I'm going to start in the 11 o'clock position. If this was a clock, imagine 11 o'clock position. I'm gonna make a nice, similarly sized and shaped bump that matches this one right here. I'm going to follow the curvature of this line, but it's not overly exaggerated and curved. And you can see I'm sketching. I'm doing just a little bit at a time. If you want this to have some nice perspective and look like it is really round and more three-dimensional, then when you bring in this bottom line, make it a little bit higher off of the bottom of the page than the first one right here. So I'm going to go about right there. And I'm not going up too much. I'm just kind of going across and maybe a tiny bit up. Before I continue more on that side, I'm going to do this side. Same idea. I don't want to make it too close because I want to fill this in with dots later. So if you look at it in a moment and you say to yourself, oh, whoops, I made that too close, then it's okay to go back and fix that. All right, let's put in a couple more sections. Remember, keep them big so we can fill them with dots. Same idea. Start at 11 o'clock. Copy the same roundness of the top. Don't be afraid to come out. This is what we're doing. We're filling our paper with this whole image, and use nice light sketching lines. Remember, the idea when you're using these light lines is not only making it easier on yourself later to erase them, but when you draw just a little at a time, then you can reverse, adjust your curve, and then make your next line. And I do it quickly because I'm used to doing it, but that's basically what I'm doing. I make a line, my brain says, okay, make the next one right here. So I go backwards with my pencil, draw a little bit more, go backwards with my pencil, draw a little bit more. And that's what sketching really is. That's what you're seeing when people are doing this. They're making those little fine-tuning adjustments. Okay, so that's it. So there's my pumpkin. Now, this side is up a little bit higher than this side. I could either adjust it if I feel like I'd like to see it more even, which I think I would. That seems like a little bit off there. Like a little more than I normally would tolerate. Okay, cool. So I've got that. I'm not worried about erasing it. I'm gonna come back later and erase. Now let's make the stem. There's a couple ways you can do this. I am going to just put in the end where it's broken off, and then I'm aiming for mounting my stem right here on the top of my bowling pin, if you will. Right there. Oh, that ended up way too thick. There we go. Okay, this I am gonna erase. You'll see why in a second. I'm not worried about the top. Now I wanna make a little bit more three-dimensional perspective to this, so I'm gonna add a little bit of a hump from the top center of this guy to the top center of this guy. Same thing from here to here. Cool. And then from here to the stem, same height as this one. I'm just aiming for that. Same here. Just imagine it's going behind the stem. And now my pumpkin looks a little bit more three-dimensional. Awesome. All right, time to trace it with Sharpie. Now it is time to start putting in those amazing magical dots that Yayoi Kusama put in all of her work. So what I'm going to do is just jump in there with my Sharpie. I'm going to be inserting some large circular polka dots. These are the size of a nickel, I would say, on my picture. And you can see that I am spacing them evenly apart from one another, even though I'm just making this by hand. I'm not measuring it, I'm just using my eyes. And then on the next one, I'm going to do smaller next to it. See how I'm lining this up right next to these? Yep. And then I'm going to be adding some on the other side.